Hello, my name's Rebecca, and this is Your Bourbon Journey. Welcome to episode 33 of Thirsty Thursday Cocktails. I don't know if you've been with us the last few weeks when we've been doing some salutes to some Kansas City, Missouri distilleries, but tonight that salute is going out to Tomstown Distillery. We had a fabulous time visiting there, and I hope you'll check out our video from yesterday where we reviewed 4 different spirit offerings that we acquired there. But today, we're going to be making something with their rye whiskey. I know, I don't do a rye whiskey very often. This is going to be called the Midwesterner Old Fashioned, and I know you're going to be excited. So let's talk about what ingredients we need to make this cocktail. First, we need a great rye whiskey, and as I already said, today I've selected Tomstown Distilling straight rye whiskey that is a bottled in bond, meaning it's at least 4 years old and it is 100 proof. When we tasted it, we just fell in love. We don't typically buy a rye whiskey. We have very few on the shelf, but this one really sang to us that day. And it's going to do amazing things with this old fashioned. We're also going to be using Demerara Syrup to bring in those sweet notes that are dark and luscious, that's going to complement the notes of this rye just amazingly. Also, we're going to use 2 different bitters. First, we will use the Angostura aromatic bitters. That's going to really lend its way to give us a great nose on this cocktail. And finally, we will use the Aztec Chocolate Bitters, because believe it or not, this rye whiskey has a lot of chocolate notes in it. So I just know it's going to be exciting. I'm using an old-fashioned glass today with a block of ice. We're using a mixing glass, and we got our jigger ready to go to measure out some spirits. So if you're ready, let's start the step-by-step process and get making this cocktail now. So first, we're going to start with our rye whiskey. And isn't this a gorgeous bottle, by the way? We'll be using 2 ounces of Tomstown bottled in bond straight rye whiskey. Of course, you could use another rye whiskey, especially if you find one that's a bottle and bond around 100 proof will be just about perfect. But this is a really special rye, I must say. Now for the Demerara syrup, we'll be using 1/2 ounce of the syrup. Go, that looks lovely. Angostura Bitters, 2 dashes. And for our Aztec Chocolate Bitters, we want to really bring that chocolate forward, so 3 bitters of that. Now we're going to stir until it's well chilled and all incorporated together. So let's do that. That's feeling nice and chilled. We will strain that into our prepared old-fashioned glass with the block of ice. Now you could garnish this with a brandied cherry, perhaps an orange peel, but I felt pretty strongly that this had so many great tastes, I just didn't want to rock the boat by adding any other flavors to it. So let's see how it's standing up right now. It has so many yummy smells to it because you've got those aromatic bitters which come forward right away, and the sweet notes from the Demerara syrup. And this rye whiskey has notes of orange and chocolate and some savory notes that are just earthy. And it's just playing very well together. So let's have a taste of this Midwesterner Old Fashioned made with Tomstown straight rye whiskey bottled in bond. Cheers. That is a really fun take on an old fashioned. I don't believe I've ever made, even for myself, let alone this channel, an old fashioned with rye whiskey. And this was the perfect choice because it's got a lower percentage of rye, so it's not hitting you over the head with a bunch of spicy notes, which means it complements the Demerara syrup and these bitters just perfectly. And I just hope you will give it a try. Do you like a good old fashioned? Have you ever made an old fashioned with rye whiskey? If so, leave a comment for me. I want to know your other recipes that you may have out there that you're using for rye whiskey to make an old fashioned. But for today, I'm going to ask you to always drink responsibly. Take a moment and subscribe to this channel so you won't miss a thing that we're doing. And I hope, of course, that you will have a most fantastic Thirsty Thursday. And see you next week. Cheers.